probably some stuff you liked early on, maybe some stuff you didn't like as much in the second half. Is that fair?
Yeah, I don't know that it was entirely a reflection of us in the second half. I'll give them credit that I thought they came with more energy and more intent in the second half, and it was a bit more of an even contest during that period of the game. I thought the level was really, really high in the first half. It was always going to be difficult to maintain that, given that it's the first game of the season and we're 17 days into the entire campaign. So our energy probably dropped off a little bit. We weren't quite as capable of sustaining the attack for longer periods, and that put a little bit of life into them. But as I said to the guys, we're 1-0. We've just scored 4 goals at home, and surprise, surprise, there's things we need to work on. So if you'd have offered me that or anyone that before the game, we absolutely would have taken it. And there was a ton of positives to take from the first half.
Dan, I know what you're getting with Sergio, but the versatility to be able to start at striker and then play on the wing and still be hungry for more. I mean, that has to feel great to know that he is capable anywhere you put him out there.
Yeah, and he's matured a lot in terms of how clinical he's become. He always showed flashes, but there was always a bit of a frustration perhaps when he was first with the program. Was there enough end product when he got into those positions? Was he gonna do enough with them? And I think he has so much confidence playing off the right and coming in on his left foot, and strikes the ball so well that I think that's given him more confidence to potentially play up front and cause teams problems, because when the ball falls to him, he believes in his capacity to finish the chances.
What did you make of Marc Benau's performance tonight?
Yeah, it was an interesting one, because again, for probably 60 minutes he barely touched the ball. It's difficult in those games, arguably, when they're less engaged, to really stay very, very focused. And he's unfortunate with the first deflection on the first goal, and it's a fantastic finish that I think he almost gets a hand on in the second one. So I wouldn't say there was too much he could do there. He'll still gain confidence from getting the start, getting the win, and getting another 90 minutes of experience under his belt. So I hope he's walking away feeling pretty happy with himself.
Is there a timeline for Marcus's availability?
Yeah, I mean, we could have used him today. He got back to campus probably 2 days before his arrival back to campus. I got a phone call and some images of a pretty swollen ankle. So we're happy that he's as close as he is. He's now got through some full training, but he didn't feature at all in the first 3 preseason games because he wasn't able to. So yeah, it's good to see him dressed and good to see him back in practice yesterday. So I think he's close.
Dan, Simon has played here against you guys, but the service tonight was terrific. Is that what he can provide consistently throughout the season?
Definitely. We knew there was end product, and we knew he was Georgia State's best player for probably the last 2-3 years, certainly. He's had a really good start to preseason, then kind of faded off a little bit, and probably felt like he needed today. So it was really good to see him deliver when it comes to the crunch rate, and we're out here under the lights, and for him to have the quality of performance he did, exciting, because I think we've got some really good attacking midfield options, and he's certainly one of them.
Is that an area that you thought you needed to improve in from last year, service?
Not necessarily. I mean, Utara is playing for Orlando City now. He got 12 assists, right? So, no, it's an area that the delivery for the first goal in particular, that's an area we've put a lot of emphasis on. That is a good opportunity, a good assist opportunity in that zone, in that little kind of corner of the 18-yard box there, and Sergio was on the same page as him, and he delivered a fantastic ball into the box. So yeah, it was good to see the quality of performance from him today, and we're very hopeful there's going to be end product with him as well.
Was the sun the goal for flipping the field, and if so, how much of an impact do you think that had?
Yeah, it's important. I'm probably not qualified to answer that question on behalf of their goalkeeper as to what some of those struggles are, but yeah, there was a time when we used to kick off at 7:30 just because of that in the early part of the year. So yeah, important to win the toss.
Dan, Felix too, goal at the end there. Similar question. Can he play anywhere, and what can he provide?
Yeah, we really like Felix. I think he was a little frustrated and upset with himself that the first half wasn't the best version of him. He's coming off a pre-season where he's been fantastic, scored 4 goals in the 3 games in pre-season. So when we brought him back on to put him up front, it was a kind of arm around him just to say, listen, I know the first 30 wasn't what you probably envisioned, but you have an opportunity right now to to make the most of this. So again, he's off the mark. He can deliver a lot in terms of his athleticism and his pace. I think he's probably best out wide, but again, in the position we're in, having Sergio and then having the capacity to flip that and put Felix up there too. But Sam Nienka did a good job when he came on as well. So it's nice to see the attacking options either get off the mark or make a good contribution in their minutes. And you put Marcus into that equation as well, and it's there's something to think about for our opponents.
Do you have an update on Ethan Deckeldax yet? Do you know kind of what happened?
Yeah, I know he has a bit of a history with hamstrings. The hope is it's not quite as bad. I think probably some scar tissue from previous injuries mentally, that as soon as he felt something, he didn't even want to risk it. So obviously hopeful that it won't be long. But again, we don't know enough yet without a scan to probably have to assess the extent of the damage.
Go ahead. You played the Horizon League's leading shot taker tonight in Mallmeister, and kept him in check pretty well. So how do you approach somebody who's so aggressive with the ball whenever they get it?
Yeah, he's big, strong, very physical, quite clever at selling a foul as well, and certainly from what we saw of him last year, has the capacity to take good chances. It was important that we read the ball into him as early as possible and found opportunities to step in front or intercept. Really, really aggressive and tight, and also recognised that if the ball was going to come in behind, if we were tight, we felt as though Max and Carlos were going to win that race as well. So perhaps not the threat in behind us, which allows us to be even tighter and just really suffocate space in front and limit his capacity to utilise his strength.
Earlier today, Marcus is named to the Herman Trophy watch list. What's that mean to a program when just right off the bat, you've got one of the best players in the country, and kind of everybody across the country knows that as well?
Yeah, I mean, that's it's a fantastic accolade. Marcus hasn't kicked a ball in Aggie yet for us, so he'll have to earn that, and he knows, and I hope everyone knows, that the best way to get individual accolades is for the team to be really, really successful. We saw it last year, and we continue to preach it to the group, that everyone's individual agenda should align with that of the team. We made a Final Four last year, and we had 8 players draft eligible. That was a direct result of us having a really good team. So the focus needs to be on what the team needs to do and what his contribution needs to be to the team. And if he wins the Herman Trophy at the end of the year, I'm sure we've had a great season.
Kind of on a similar note, should Sergio have been on some of those All-Sun Belt teams?
Of course, yeah. I mean, the difficulty is there's not enough room for everyone. It's a funny thing to say, but you look at what we had last year from the front four. Sergio, I think 9 goals last year. Luke McCormick 7 goals, and then you have the other 2 with 12. And then you bring in 2 first-team All-Conference players in Ethan Deckeldax and Simon Carlson that have been on those lists in their previous scores as well. It's fine. I think this is a group that, I don't want to say they don't care, but understand where it needs to come in the hierarchy of their priorities, and certainly as a staff. With respect to those accolades, we don't spend a great deal of time acknowledging them or worrying about them. We worry about what the team needs to do and what each individual player needs to do to help the team.